You ever seen someone bark so loud they forget who they're barking at? That's exactly what just went down in Chicago. And baby, it was messy. Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed it girl of the WNBA, finally met her match in the most unexpected, ice-cold way. And no, it wasn't a flashy rookie or a media darling. It was Courtney Vandersloot, a woman who moves like a storm in silence, one who don't need cameras, clout, or controversy to command respect. Just the name alone should make you pause. If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. Vandersloot ain't new to this. She's true to this. But apparently, Angel didn't get the memo. Because somewhere between the Instagram captions, podcast shade, and passive-aggressive tweets, Angel decided she was ready to come for a vet. Not just any vet, but a 5-time All-Star, 2-time champ, and one of the coldest playmakers to ever touch a WNBA floor. And why? Because Vandersloot's been recovering from an injury, and Angel had the audacity to call her washed. Phew. Let's talk about disrespect for a second. The kind that drips off a tongue so slick, you forget it cuts both ways. Angel Reese has been moving reckless. Fast, loud, flashy. She's got talent, no doubt. But talent with no humility? That's a ticking time bomb. She walked into the league with the cameras already waiting. And somewhere along the way, she started believing her own hype. Started thinking veteran status could be mocked. That legacies could be laughed at. That wisdom, earned the hard way, didn't matter anymore. So when she threw that shade at Courtney, talking slick about her age, her knees, her time being up, she thought she was just playing the media game. Thought it was cute. Thought she could toss a vet into the gossip blender, like she was another trending topic. But see, Courtney ain't built for drama. She built for the game. And baby, when Courtney clapped back, she didn't scream. She didn't rant. She didn't post some cryptic IG story with Nicki Minaj lyrics. She spoke facts, plain and cutting. She reminded everyone who the hell she is, without ever raising her voice. That's the thing about real ones. They don't need to yell to make noise. In a post-game interview that might as well be etched in WNBA history, Vandersloot responded with surgical precision. No theatrics, just truth. She looked right into the camera, like she was looking through Angel, and said, "I've come back from injuries, from doubt, from being overlooked. I've done it all, and I'm still here. You don't stay in this league by accident." Boom. That wasn't just a clapback. That was a legacy check, a reality check. And the locker room felt it. You could hear the shift, the silence. Because deep down, even Angel had to recognize, you don't come for royalty without consequences. Now, let's not act like this confrontation came out of nowhere. The tension been simmering. Word been leaking from the locker room for weeks. Players giving each other side eyes. That awkward body language during timeouts. Reese walking in like she owns a joint, but playing like she forgot this ain't college anymore. This is a league, baby. And these women, they're not here to babysit egos. From the jump, it was clear Angel was chasing something. Not greatness, not growth, but validation. She needed to be seen. And in chasing that spotlight, she started stomping on toes, disrespecting the very people who paved the way for her to even have a mic to talk into. Courtney didn't deserve that. Let's get something straight. Vandersloot ain't just a vet. She's a tactician. She's been the heartbeat of championship-caliber teams. While Angel was still perfecting TikTok dances and basking in LSU fame, Courtney was out here studying film, grinding through pain, dragging her body through playoff wars, and mentoring the next generation. She didn't need the glitz. She earned her name through sweat, through silence, through substance. And now, she's being disrespected by someone who ain't even earned her second season stripes? Nah, we're not doing that. What's wild is how Chicago Sky management fumbled this situation. Like, how you let this drama unfold on your watch and do nothing but hand out a slap-on-the-wrist suspension. You got a fractured locker room, a team with no clear hierarchy, and a rookie running wild like she owns the building. And instead of checking that behavior early, you coddled it. You try to ride the media wave, thinking all press is good press. Now look, Courtney's voice, that a respected vet had to be the one to set the tone. Not the coach, not the front office. Her. And let's be real, y'all. Courtney's response wasn't just about Angel. It was about every young player walking in with entitlement instead of gratitude. It was a call to respect the craft, not just a camera. To understand that this league wasn't built overnight. It was built on backs like hers, on broken ankles, sleepless nights, underpaid seasons, and media indifference. It was built by women who fought to matter. But what is Angel doing? Undermining all that with antics, with drama, with the kind of energy that feels more TMZ than WNBA. And the saddest part? She's better than that. Or at least she could be. But she's trading potential for persona. And that don't last. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's out here taking elbows, shade, and every kind of heat, but staying locked in, focused, composed. You don't see her dragging teammates in interviews. You don't see her subtweeting veterans. You see her hooping, learning, growing. Now that's how you build legacy. But Angel, she's spiraling, fast. The league ain't gonna babysit her forever. The fans might love a good villain, but even villains gotta produce. You can't be controversial and inconsistent. That's a short shelf life. And with every outburst, every eye roll, every dismissive remark, she's burning bridges she hasn't even crossed yet. Ask yourself this. How many more vets gonna want to mentor her? How many teammates gonna trust her? How many coaches gonna fight for her when her stat line don't match the headlines? 'Cause that time will come. It always does. And when it does, she'll look back at this moment, this clash with Vandersloot, this crossroads, and she'll realize this was a warning. The moment she was told to chill, to grow up, to learn from greatness instead of challenging it. But hey, maybe she listens. Maybe this becomes a moment that humbles her. Maybe she takes this L and flips it into leadership. Or maybe she keeps chasing smoke and fades just as fast. Only time will tell. But one thing for sure, Courtney Vandersloot just reminded the league what real legacy looks like. She reminded everyone that respect don't come from tweets. It comes from time served, from rings, from sweat, from silence that speaks louder than sound. So the question ain't about Angel anymore. It's about you, the one watching this unfold. What kind of legacy do you respect? The loud one that burns fast? Or the quiet one that burns forever? Angel Reese might be loud, but she ain't listening. Not to her teammates, not to her coaches, and definitely not to the game. It's like she walked into the W thinking her NSA clout was going to carry her forever. Like the league was just going to hand her a crown, 'cause she brought ratings and social media followers. But the WNBA ain't no popularity contest. It's not prom queen politics. This is grown woman business. And when you step into that arena, ego will get you embarrassed quick. See, when Courtney Vandersloot stepped on that court, she didn't have to point to her resume. The court knows her. The players feel her presence. Even at half speed, even off an injury, she's still one of the smartest floor generals in the game. You don't teach what she does. You become it through years of grind and grit. So when Angel threw that shade about age, durability, and being past her prime, all she did was show the world how immature she really is. 'Cause in this league, longevity is earned, not mocked. And only someone who ain't been tested would think survival is something to clown. Courtney survived. Through injuries, through coaching changes, through the early years when the league barely got airtime, and players had to fight just to be seen. She stayed. She built. And when the lights finally came around, she didn't switch up, she leveled up. Meanwhile, Angel been here, 6 months? And already got a highlight reel of drama longer than her stat sheet? Let's not sugarcoat it. Reese has become the disruption, not the force. And there's a difference. A force shakes the room with skill and presence. A disruption just makes noise. Angel came in thinking the league was another stage for her personal brand, but forgot the league demands respect, not just attention. You think the vets don't see that? They peep the attitude, the passive-aggressive interviews, the side eyes during huddles, the refusal to check her ego at the door. And the worst part? Angel's not even hiding it. She's proud of it. She's leaning into the villain role, like it's going to write her legacy for her. But villains with no rings, with no accolades, they don't get remembered. They get replaced. And if Angel don't check herself soon, that's exactly what's coming. Because what Courtney did that shutdown was more than a personal defense. It was a message, a line drawn in the hardwood, a moment where the old guard reminded the new blood that clout don't beat character, and controversy don't outrun consistency. Picture it, Courtney walking into that locker room after the game. No dramatics, no chest pounding, just calm, seasoned energy. She's not here to gloat. She's not here to flex. She's here to lead. Because that's what real leaders do. They show up when the room gets messy. And the younger players, the ones actually watching and learning, they saw the difference between noise and knowledge that night. Angel, she was still sulking, probably scrolling, probably drafting another shady tweet in her drafts folder, waiting for the right moment to drop it and spark another headline. But here's the part Angel don't understand. Headlines fade. Legacy don't. Courtney could have flamed her in public, could have gone full press tour, and dragged her name through the media. But she didn't, because maturity doesn't clap back for likes. It moves with purpose. Vandersloot's presence is enough to remind people who's earned the mic and who's still just borrowing it. Now, let's talk real implications. How long before teammates stop writing for Angel? How long before coaches stop defending her? You think the league isn't watching? You think sponsors aren't side-eyeing every viral moment that's not about basketball? This ain't college no more. Ain't no coach to clean up your mess in the postgame. Ain't no campus culture to protect you. You're a professional now. And the rules? They hit different here. Courtney's confrontation was classy, but it was sharp, and it hit Angel where it hurt, her credibility. Because what do you say when someone whose accolades dwarf yours, whose work ethic has never been questioned, looks you dead in your face and says, "You don't know what it takes to last here"? Phew, that line might as well have echoed in that gym. Because that's the truth Reese keeps running from. She's not ready for this league's grind. The back-to-backs, the travel, the lack of media cuddling, the injuries that never fully heal, the locker rooms where egos get eaten alive if you ain't producing. She's still acting like she's in Baton Rouge, walking in like the moment owes her something. But the WNBA owes her nothing. In fact, it's already given her more than she's earned: attention, contracts, cameras. And what's she doing with it? Burning bridges, dismissing legends, and alienating the very women who could have helped her flourish. Courtney could have been a mentor, could have taught her about pacing, about balance, about how to lead without losing your mind. But now, that door's closed. And when veterans close that door, it don't open back easy. Here's the twist, though. This could still be Angel's redemption arc. She could look in the mirror, swallow her pride, and start doing the real work. The work that don't get likes. The work that don't make blogs. The work that makes champions. That's the beauty of youth. You still got time to pivot, to learn, to humble yourself. But you only get so many wake-up calls. Courtney just rang the first one loud as hell. So Angel, what's it going to be? You going to keep talking slick till the league starts talking past you? Or you going to grow up, shut up and show up? And as for Courtney, she already walked away from that moment with her crown intact. No need to explain. No need to argue. Because when you're really that good, the game speaks for you. And baby, it spoke loud. So next time a youngin' wants to test a vet, they might want to think twice. Because the OGs ain't playing friendly anymore. They're tired of the disrespect, tired of the antics. And they're ready to remind this new generation that rings weigh heavier than retweets. This league, it don't bend for noise. It listens to greatness. And greatness? That's Courtney Vandersloot. Let's call it what it is. Embarrassing. Embarrassing that a rookie still wet behind the ears thought it was cute to throw shade at a living legend. Embarrassing that she really believed her moment was big enough to belittle someone who's been holding the league down since before Angel had her first press conference. But it wasn't just disrespect. It was delusion. Because for Angel to even think she could question Courtney's place in this league, phew, baby, that's beyond arrogance. That's what happens when hype turns into hallucination. That's what happens when people mistake clout for credibility. Let me break it down for you. Courtney Vandersloot is the kind of player who doesn't just play the game, she dictates it. She doesn't need to drop 30 every night. She controls the tempo. She reads the defense before it forms. Her presence alone makes everybody better. That's IQ. That's leadership. That's legacy. And Angel Reese? Still chasing cameras. Still talking more than she's listening. Still confusing chaos for confidence. That's the tragedy in all this. Because Angel's got it. She has the size, the strength, the charisma, the influence. She could be a force in this league. She could be dominating the paint and inspiring young black girls to hoop with heart and hunger. She could be standing next to players like Courtney, soaking up the game, learning the ropes, building something lasting. But instead, she's out here alienating teammates and turning locker rooms into war zones, talking down on veterans, playing victim when the consequences hit. And trust, the consequences are coming. Let's talk about that locker room, shall we? Word on the street. Yeah, we heard it. It's icy in there. Cold like December in Chicago. Players not vibing. Trust is low. Tension so thick you can cut it with a nail file. And management? They're walking on eggshells. Too scared to discipline Angel because they're worried about optics. Worried about pushback from social media. Worried about headlines instead of health. But guess what? You don't build championships on chaos. You don't build culture on cliques and petty squabbles. You don't build trust when one player's ego is bigger than the playbook. And if the Chicago Sky keep letting Angel run wild like this, they're not just failing her, they're failing the whole damn team. Because when Courtney spoke up, she did what leadership is supposed to do. She didn't ask for permission. She didn't wait for the front office to finally grow a spine. She stood 10 toes down and said, "Not on my watch." And that is why Courtney is still relevant. That's why vets matter. That's why you respect the people who came before you. Because when things fall apart, it's the vets who hold the line. Not the stars of the moment. Not the social media darlings. But the ones who walked through fire and kept walking. Angel's too busy chasing legacy through lenses. But legacy don't live online. It lives in locker rooms. In practice. In late nights at the gym when nobody's watching. It lives in the quiet moments, the ones Angel keeps running from. Because if she had been watching Courtney instead of mocking her, maybe she would have learned something. Learned how to speak without dividing. How to lead without destroying. How to check ego at the door and serve something bigger than yourself. But see, Angel don't know about that. Not yet. She still thinks she's a story. Still thinks the league revolves around her drama. But baby, the WNBA been here before you. And it'll be here long after. You're not the sun. You're not untouchable. And if you don't humble yourself soon, the very same spotlight you're chasing will turn on you. 'Cause this league, it loves a hero, sure, but it protects itself from the villain. And while Angel might be enjoying the noise now, noise gets tuned out, drama gets stale, and if the game ain't matching the talk, you become forgettable. Just another name on a list of what could have beens. And don't get it twisted, this ain't hate, this is the truth. Because the saddest thing about Angel's spiral isn't that she's failing, it's that she doesn't even see it. She thinks the criticism is jealousy. She thinks the veterans are hating. She thinks the media is just picking sides. But what she doesn't realize is that people are trying to save her, trying to protect her from herself, trying to warn her before she goes too far, before the league moves on, before teammates give up, before coaches stop calling her number. Because this is the point of no return, the moment where you either humble yourself and step into your greatness, or double down and get left behind. And Courtney, she's already done trying to save her. She said what needed to be said. She showed Angel what grown woman energy looks like. She took the high road. And now, she's done explaining herself. She'll let her legacy talk. Let her game talk. Let her rings talk. Because queens don't argue with court jesters. They reign. So, Angel, what's the move now? You still got fans. Still got believers. Still got time. But time don't last forever. And if you keep disrespecting the very people who laid the path you're walking on, that path's gonna close. And when it does, it don't matter how many followers you've got, how many retweets you rack up, or how many sound bites you post. Because at the end of the day, the lead don't care about noise. It cares about results. So choose wisely before the crown you're chasing slips through your fingers and lands on someone else's head. Angel Reese ain't the villain. She's the warning, the walking, talking cautionary tale of what happens when a young star mistakes fame for foundation, when the glitter blinds you from the grind, when the crown gets too heavy before you've even earned the throne. And Courtney Vandersloot, she's not just a vet who clapped back. She's the mirror, the one standing across from Angel like, look, this is who you could be if you stop playing yourself. But Angel's too busy clapping at shadows, too busy trying to prove she belongs by tearing others down. Like respect is something you can snatch with sound bites, but it ain't. Respect in this league is slow-cooked, brick by brick, game by game. It's what you build, not what you demand. And Courtney, she built hers. She's got receipts longer than a CVS printout. You can't erase that. You can't shake that. And you damn sure can't punk that. That's what makes this whole thing so tragic. Because Angel's not a bad person. She's just moving badly. She's moving like she's invincible, like her youth is a shield. But youth don't protect you from reality. It just delays it. And right now, reality is knocking. Teammates are whispering. Executives are watching. Fans are starting to wonder if the hype was hollow. And Courtney? She's already walked away from the mess, back to her business, back to her rhythm, quiet, steady, dangerous. While Angel's still out here yelling into the void. But here's the twist. The beautiful, heartbreaking twist. It's not too late. It's not too late for Angel to change the narrative. To shut up, show up, and start putting in the kind of work that silences critics instead of feeding them. To turn this chapter into a comeback instead of collapse. All she has to do is listen. Not to the noise, not to the yes men, but to the ones who've been there. The ones like Courtney, who don't need to scream to be heard. Because greatness, it ain't loud. It's deliberate. It's the 5 a.m. workouts. It's the extra reps after practice. It's the locker room leadership when the lights go off. It's the discipline, the grace, the humility, the legacy. Angel's at the fork in the road now. One way leads to headlines, the other to history. And only one of those paths has room for her name next to Courtney Vandersloot's. So the question is no longer, will she respond? It's, will she evolve?